Peace. Campaign show live Thursday, April 24th. Campaign show. You see the title? More receipts. More receipts about Mutabil, formerly Napoleon from the Outlaws. More receipts about his slanderous accusations against the NOI. I'm gonna wait for a few minutes. I'm waiting for 2 minutes actually. Salute Nate the Greatest, first of the Wrench Mob God Squad. Blacktastic 68 actually is the very first. Salute Blacktastic 68. Subscribe, share, like, comment, hit the notification. Y'all on y'all way in, hit the like button if y'all will. That don't mean you have to like or agree nothing that I say or nothing that I represent, but just for the algorithm's sake, so we can get this to hit as many people's feeds that disagree with what I'm about to present, so they can show up and not 304 up. So like Blacktastic 68 say, subscribe, share, hit the like button if y'all don't mind, hit the like button. And in about 30 seconds, we're going to start this content. Salute Nate the Greatest, Ahmad Jabril, King Z, Big TY, salute Big TY, George Allen, Walaikum Salam. Just hit the like button on y'all way in if y'all don't mind. Campaign show live Thursday, April 24th. More receipts about Mutabil, Napoleon from the Outlaws, slander against the NOI. And it's sad, it's painful, but hey, we're gonna crack it all the way open and we're gonna call it what it is: a spade, call a ball, call a strike. And the gloves is off. I never am disrespectful, but I respond to disrespect. I never slander and none of that, especially not public, but I'm going to respond to slander, and the crime of omission, the crime of public slander and omission, and accusing, according to the Quranic law, accusing those innocent of, what they not guilty of. So we're going to go into all of that. Jamila, walaikum salam, Jamila. No problem. Big TY, I don't know who to believe. Believe the data. I'm not giving emotions. I'm giving data. I'm giving receipts. So I'm a member of the Nation of Islam, the FOI, for the last 35 years. Nobody can't tell me nothing about the NOI history or Malcolm X history or what the NOI allegedly do or don't do, whether it's in New Jersey, Philly, LA, Chicago. You can't tell me what, and if you claim you can, get on the live with me. If you're a witness and you was there or you got some witnesses, bring them. Because if you claiming to be Muslim and you making these claims and you don't have no witnesses, let alone at least 4 witnesses, then you guilty of slander according to Holy Quran or Islamic law. You guilty of slander. You ain't supposed to be saying nothing without bringing at least 4 witnesses if you claim to be a Muslim, period. So that's why I don't even claim. I just bring receipts. The receipts represent way more than 4 witnesses. The receipts I bring don't have nothing to do with my emotions or feelings or whatever. You called for this. Y'all asked for this. We warned you. But y'all violated, the grace and the mercy and the kindness and the patience of the FOI. Y'all violated. So you asked for it. Now you got it. And it's just the beginning. Because once you start it, we're not gonna stop until it stops. We're not gonna stop. So with that in mind, hit the like button, share this, and let's go.
My parents were murdered in front of me by members of the Nation of Islam.
You said my parents were unalived in front of me by members of the Nation of Islam. Here's a receipt right here on Wikipedia. Birth name Mutawasin Shabazz Bill, born October 7th, 1977. 1977. This is 2 years after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was believed to be physically dead, departed from among us. 2 years after, and immediately, if you go to right now, you can go to YouTube and type in Savior's Day 1975. This is the very day after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was pronounced dead at Mercy Hospital. The very next day was this Savior's Day that you see Minister Farrakhan crying, and you see Ward Dean getting held up and put on the shoulders of the FOI. That happened immediately the next day after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was pronounced dead. That happened the next day. So from then on, immediately, Ward Dean took and began to take the NOI off of his father's teachings. The NOI teachings he immediately dismantled and destroyed and threw in the trash, and took the whole NOI to Sunni Orthodox Islam, right? So it says right here on the bottom, Bill grew up in Irvington, New Jersey. He was raised by his Christian grandmother after his Muslim parents were unalived in their home in front of him in an, terrible style, such and such, when he was 3 years old. Muslim parents, right? Keep that in mind, because at the end of this, we're gonna present the and no disrespect intended. I got to be careful about how to say this, because I don't want to be insensitive, but the brother ain't being insensitive. So this would literally be or figuratively be the nail in the coffin when it comes to receipts, when I'm gonna show at the end of this.
You said your parents were in front of you.
Yes.
You got shot as well, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. So
you said your parents was, so he's going on all of these Arab, I've never seen him say this story to black people, or, I don't even know where he at, but he's frequently interviewing with Arabs and talking with Arabs and living with Arabs or whatever. So this, he's saying your parents was unalived, right in your face, but he's not saying, or maybe he is telling them that he was unalived by the members of the NOI. So I want to play this. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play this all the way through, because it's probably about 7 minutes long, something like that. So I'm gonna play it all the way through and not interrupt. Then I'm gonna come back, because by the time I get to the end, y'all probably gonna be like, you don't even need to say nothing, but I'm gonna say something. So let me start it from the beginning, y'all. And this is Fair Use, Campaign Show Live. More receipts about Mutah Bill, Napoleon slander against the NOI. I'm gonna be quiet.
My parents were murdered in front of me by members of the Nation of Islam.
You said your parents were in front of you.
Yes.
You got shot as well, wasn't it?
yes, yes. So when my parents, as you mentioned, when my parents got married, I got grazed in the foot, where a bullet grazed my foot. It didn't enter it, but it did hit the foot. And alhamdulillah, Allah protected me, even though, and it's all praise due to Allah because of my mother. My mother took 13 bullets, protecting me and my brothers. So because of her, fighting back, even the guys who came to murder my parents said we were planning to murder the kids, but we ran out of shooting at them.
Since Malcolm deviated, he went out and armed his followers, right? And I never have taught you to arm. And you were most successful without arm and those with arm, right? Not even Martin Luther was too wise to tell his followers to arm themselves, because he knew the devil would kill them. Because the devil have all the arms. You got to have a lot of arms to make a stand against him. Because if you outshoot him with rifles in this neighborhood, he'll go rope it off. He'll go and isolate this neighborhood. Then he'll get in his plane and come over and drop a little bomb on you. Understand? Or he'll sit out there and take one of his field pieces and throw some shells over y'all, right? You can't do nothing. You can't throw them back at him. Or he'll come and just strafe you, with machine gun fire. Go up and down the street with his, with his plane just sliding low. You don't have one. Just strafe you all up and down the street. Daring you to come out, and then after a while you cry out for some food. He the only one selling you food. You don't have no food stowed away. Now how in the world you gonna find out people like that? When they feed, you got to eat their food. You got to wear their clothes. You got to, stay under their shelter. How can you fight them with their arms? You're going to be the loser. You're going to have your people slaughtered. That's right. I know these things in advance. He could just starve you to death. Just go and patrol your area and won't allow you to come out and nobody to go in. You can't get no help. You can't jump up and fly out of it. You don't have wings to fly. This old devil is about the strongest thing on the earth when it comes to actually, arms. He have built up a force of arms, brother, that is not equal here in Russia. So you can't fight him with that. Don't depend on fighting him with that. Find the other way. Get Allah who knows how to fight without artillery of his make. Now, he told me he will leave him to him. He's happy to destroy him. He said he hasn't got anything to destroy. He said take him in one day. He don't have nothing. He said we know what he have. I told him about the poison gas when they get to it. He said, we know all about that. He said, we cut a corridor in the air lane. He says, poison gas can't cross it. He said, we know how to sell. He said, we know how to stop this devil. And he told me, he said, we've been preparing for him for 60 years. He said, we're ready, brother. And the devil knows that. And there is ex-general in Pakistan, he told me the same thing. He said, we've been preparing for this devil for 60 years, 70 now. He said, now we are ready. He said, we just have to get back and make room here for you all. He said, because we're ready. He said, he's no good. He said, the only way out is just to kill him. Well, these scientists knows these things. And that's why you hear me boast so. I know it. I know when Allah let loose the forces of nature against him, he got no defense. He can't fight that. I don't care if you have a stack of bombs, tonnage bombs, hydrogen bomb as high as Mount Everest. It wouldn't help him against that. He just have them there. No, he couldn't help him at all. So that's what Allah going to fight him.
So fair use. And we got about 3 more minutes left. So I'm just playing this and I'm cutting it fair use. And then I'm going to come back and show the receipts. But the very last pictures or screenshots that I got it's so sad, but gloves is off.
Tell you, nursing a hypocrite is like nursing a snake. Yes, sir. It's like nursing a snake. I don't care who it is, if it's your wife, if it's your mother or your father. When they turn hypocrites, they're just like a snake to you. And if God make one an enemy to the other, regardless to how close he is to you and me, we must just leave him go. Just don't have nothing to do with it. I don't say go kill him. No, I don't say that. If he can take what Allah going to put on, that'd be enough, brother, too much. I don't care. I would go kill my son and my grandson because they defeated for me. No. I know what he's going to meet. He will wish that I had killed him. To suffer what Allah going to put on him. Allah, when he chastised my brother used to lie down at my feet many times, tell me, take my knife, just go ahead, cut my throat. I said, no, brother. I says, I have no right to cut your throat. No. And the Bible and the Quran both teach you that Allah won't let nobody kill him. No, Oh, no, they got to take them out of the misery. And he wants to suffer. Let them suffer. So I don't worry. He told me to leave them to him. He said, I will fix them all together. So I'm not particular about you. When you could turn hypocrite, you just gone from me. I'm certainly not going to give you no trouble if you don't give me any. Yes. But the hypocrite is never satisfied of going out to themselves. They want to come back because they don't have nobody to do that. Allah says in Holy Quran, He said they will never have a true friend. He makes it hard for them to have a friend because He is offered His friendship to them, and they left Him. So then they never have no true friend. And He appoints for them, He says, a devil for their companion. I was so surprised when Malcolm returned talking about he couldn't see that the white man now. That's a good God Almighty. I said, that man stood up there before the devil and taught him hard as I did after, and then I come like talking about he can't believe. I believe everybody. I ate out of the plate with them. I said to myself, that's what got the devil won you. Eating out of their plate with him. I wouldn't eat out of the plate with him, no. Well, we just forget about it, God. As I said, the Holy One don't allow us to kill them. And so we just leave them to Allah. He will take care of it. If He forgive them, that's all right. I will forgive them. Yes, sir.
He said, okay. I want to go back, but I want, with that backdrop, because this is the audio receipts. Of course, is many more audio receipts. This is not AI. This is way before the time of AI. You can even hear the sweet, patient, wise, yet heartbroken power and wisdom and authority of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is while Malcolm was doing what he was doing, slandering him and trying to destroy him, knowing that he said, as strong as much as hard as I taught Malcolm and made him, the honorable man and made him renowned and all of that, for him to, go across the country after that when he got mad and try to, destroy me and destroy my word. He said, Allah don't allow you to delete him. No, he said, leave him to him. You know what I'm saying? Leave him to him. And if Allah forgive him, I'll forgive him. Yes, sir. So that's all the way up into the end. But, Malcolm kept going harder and harder. So by the time, he got unalived, then Honorable Elijah Muhammad's heart was already like cold. Like, oh, okay, well, he became the victim of his preaching. But I wanted to show you the literal audio receipts compared to the accusations, false accusations of Muta. And this is his post, right? Some people are saying like, what, that's low. How you going to put his dead parents up on a note? He put this up. This is from 2018 on his Instagram. I put the little headline which says but here's the real story behind Muta's parents' unaliving, which he constantly publicly blames on the NOI. Right? So let's just, I was gonna wait till later. Let's just read this. This is from a 2018 post that you can go to his page right now and read. It says, growing up, this is Muta speaking. Growing up, I never really knew the exact story behind the red rums of my parents. Growing up, because it happened to me when I was 2.5 or 3 years old. So growing up, I never really knew the exact story behind the unaliving of my parents. Well, why are you screaming like you do? Other than the fact that my father's closest friends unalived my parents along with my father's friend, Mustafa. In today's world, we can pretty much get any vital information we want from the internet. And today I read an article which mentioned my father and his friend was involved in a blickying of someone, right? So he's saying his father, Muta's father, and Muta's father's friend was involved in blicking somebody first, blicking someone first. And in return, that person paid $7,500 to unalive his father for that blicky that they did, along with his father's friend. May Allah have mercy on them all. My mother took 13, protecting me and my brothers. I was also grazed in the foot by, whatever, doing that. The unalivers were asked in the courtroom, so apparently this went to court. How come they didn't unalive me, the child, and my brothers? And their reply was, we ran out of lead after, that. I can't say that. My mother gave her life to save ours. May Allah give her the highest level of Jannah or paradise, and may Allah have mercy on them all. On them all, not on us, not on the nation that you accused of it. Every action has a reaction. Exactly. Why are you not mentioning the action? Why are you getting on here? Because I never heard this story. I never heard this story in my life that I can recall. But he says every action, this is in 2018, but every time you heard him say something about his parents was unalived by the nation, you don't hear this. You don't hear the cause. You hear the so-called effect, alleged effect. And you don't hear that it wasn't during the time of the Nation of Islam. This was 77, 80. So that's 5 years. This is 5 years after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad already is departed, is allegedly dead. And the nation has been destroyed. There was no NOI at that time. How can they be members of the NOI when there's no leader? There's no Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The leader of the NOI was Waraddin Muhammad. There was no leader. There was no NOI at that time. Every action has a reaction. The choices my father made. Oh, not the choices the NOI made, not the choices members of the NOI made. The choices my father made not only cost him his life, but the life of his wife, my mother, and almost the life of us, his kids. Why ain't we hearing that? Why are you getting on a live and doing a live video and yelling, saying that it's the NOIs that did that? Why I ain't never heard you say it was your father that did that, cost everybody their life because he already blickied somebody up, him and his friend? Why I ain't never heard that? Why would you omit that? Why would you leave those critical facts and details and causes of this whole thing out, but you have this tucked away on your Instagram page since 2019, and we got to go, sift through it and find it. This is why whenever I make a decision, I always ask myself first, how would this impact the life of my kids, your baby goats? You mean your children? How would this impact the life of my kids? Because once we have children, our choices does not only affect us, but also our families. The unalivers of my father became Muslim. The unaliver, I guess it's one person. The unaliver, this one person of my father became Muslim. He became Muslim? I thought you said he was a member of the NOI. So that's very unclear. The unaliver of my father became Muslim. He's now the imam in prison. I hope that something asking, because it's covered up. Let me see something. Man, this is covered. I hope something asking Allah to forgive him. When in return, make Allah display his mercy towards me. So what about the so-called NOI? Everybody gets forgiveness except the NOI. So let's keep on going. Oh, I hope that me, he said, I hope that me, and this is the last part.
My parents were murdered in front.
My bad.
Yes, sir.
My parents.
Excuse me, y'all. Trying to get to this. Excerpts from article below. Rose was, hit allegedly by Keith Brown and Lorenzo Beal. So whoever Rose was, I don't know if this is the first person, because Keith Beal or Lorenzo Beal, maybe that's Mutah's biological father. And Rose, I don't know if that's a woman. Is that a woman? Is that a dude named Rose that was blicky by Mutah's father and his friend? It says Rose was allegedly hit by Keith Brown and Luke, and is alleged to have driven the getaway car following that Blickian. The state contended that Rose wanted Brown and Bill Blicky to even the score. It seems like that was the case. The state contended that Rose wanted Brown and Bill hit to even the score from them hitting somebody first, Blicky and somebody first. To achieve that objective, Rose arranged with defendant John Moss, Bruce Stubbs, and Sam Johnson to Blicky Lorenzo Beal, the first Blickier. The shooting occurred just after midnight on March 20th, 1981. So it wasn't 80, it was 81. Defendant and Moss stated that the job had been done. Shortly thereafter, Stubbs and Joanne Rose, defendant's sister and Robert Rose's wife, met the defendant, Moss and Johnson. At the meeting, Stubbs gave Moss $4,000, and Joanne Rose gave defendant $3,500 for doing the three victims. What does that have to do with the members of the NOI, y'all? What does that have to do with any members of the NOI? That's why I played the first backdrop and the foundation of Elijah Muhammad saying, "Oh, we don't do guns." Malcolm wanted to do that. And that's why, Malcolm went his own way. I'm gonna play the whole thing again. But not only do we not do guns, from the leader of the NOI and the teacher and the maker of Malcolm X, we don't do that. And we don't even allow, if you're not even doing blickies, if you just know how to unalive somebody with your bare hands, we don't allow that. Allah said he don't allow us to do that. He said, leave them to me. This is the flesh and blood God that y'all say that is worse than all this violence. Us believing in the flesh and blood God that said, don't touch him. Don't touch him. Leave him to me. Don't touch him. So the God that you claim that we so shirk and we so, that's, unforgivable sin, said, don't touch your family. Don't touch your parents. Taught, don't touch them, especially not with no blicky. So let's go back, and watch this one more time, because I don't want to stay on here very long, but I definitely want to stay on here very strong. So let's re-listen to this.
My parents were murdered in front of me by members of the Nation of Islam.
So it says he was born in 1977, and like I said, he was 3. So 3.5 years old. He was approximately 3.5 years old when this happened, because it said it happened in 1981. We know in 1981 there was no Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And even if there was, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was rebuilding the nation from 1977 to 1981. But he definitely wasn't pushing that. Who taught that? Who taught doing that? Even in response to that happening to us. But you putting it out there like the members of the NOI initiated. They was aggressive. They was the first ones to do this. No, according to your own posts and your own, I guess, research you said you did. No, your father caused all of this. But you say, may God have mercy and be pleased and all of that. So he didn't die a kafir or a shirk or whatever. So the NOI don't get no mercy. We get eternal damnation and all of that. But your daddy was cool. Your father was cool for costing your mother and, her life and his life, and costing y'all trauma that you pinning on the NOI. You're pinning that on the NOI, but you're not pinning nothing on your father. So let's listen to this again.
You said your parents were in front of you.
Yes.
That you got shot as well, wasn't it?
Yes,
When you
yes. So when my parents, as you mentioned, when my parents got married, I got grazed in the foot, you know, where a bullet grazed my foot. It didn't enter it, but it did hit the foot. And alhamdulillah, Allah protected me, you know, even though, and it's all praise due to Allah because of my mother. My mother took 13 bullets, protecting me and my brothers. So because
Whose fault was it though? So that all that sounds good and honorable. Why aren't you telling the cause? Why aren't you telling that all of this was your biological father's fault? What do the NOI have to do with it? Right? You said members of the NOI unalived your father. Was your father a member of the NOI and he unalived somebody first? Why? Where do we you know, omit the cause at? Where do we omit the cause? Like what Muslim maturity or what spiritual maturity or whatever omits the aggressor that acts like the aggressor don't exist because it's your daddy?
of her, you know, fighting back, even the guys who came to murder my parents said we were planning to murder, but we ran out of bullets shooting at them.
Since Malcolm deviated, he went out and armed his followers, right? And I never have taught you to arm. And you were most successful without arm and those with arm, right? Not even Martin Luther was too wise to tell his followers to arm themselves because he knows the devil would kill them. Because the devil have all the arms.
So all of that, you know, is just me just laying the groundwork. But I actually want to get in the comments. So let's not waste no time because I see people already trolling, but that's just COINTELPRO because you won't hop on here with me. But I'm going to actually read some, acknowledge some, because I've seen somebody that just was talking foolishness, trying to find out about him saying the NOI did that. He clearly said members of the NOI unalived his parents. Where's the proof of that? Where's the proof? You see that what that says right there in red? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed in 1975. So whose instructions was he following? If he was members of the NOI, and NOI is a military line organization, with authority and structure and rank, chain of command. So who was the leader of this NOI when they did that? Trying to find out. Who was the leader of, you know, these alleged NOI members when the NOI was disbanded, dismantled by Honorable Elijah Muhammad's own biological son for 5 years already? By that time, 1980 or 81, that's 6 years. That's 5 or 6 years almost that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been departed and Ward Dean had totally destroyed the NOI. So whose authority, whose instructions, whose chain of command, who was the leader of the NOI that allegedly these NOI members was carrying that out for? Hop on the live with me. Did I put the link? Hold on. Let me put this link up here. There's the link. Again and again. Trying to find out. I'm trying to find out. Trying to find out. There was no NOI in 1980 or 81, right? And if it was, who was the leader of it? Was Farrakhan teaching blickies? Was Farrakhan promoting blickies as he was rebuilding the NOI and having the very first Savior's Day in 1981? Was he pushing blickies? You know what I'm saying? Let's hear the reason that your dad initiated the blicky crime. What does the NOI have to do with it? Somebody get on here. Don't get mad because we got the more right to be mad because you've been slandering us for this many years, right? And we have for a long time held our peace. But since you want to push it now that grace is over.
But Cam.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
No, you misunderstood, brother. I was referencing a post that someone had made in the comments, the Safar Ali he
Mhm.
said that if you go back and look at the previous post, that comment was referencing that post, brother.
I don't really be in the comments, but can you tell me what he said and what you was responding to?
He said that brother never said that the NOI had did that. I followed up by saying that once you played a snippet of the clip, brother, when brother said that the NOI had unalived his
Oh man, what's happening? Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or if it's the enemy. You know, the enemy. The enemy don't want us talking. So Safi Ali, what did you say? Safi Ali putting the blame where it doesn't belong. Safi Ali or whoever, hop on the live. I don't, because I ain't in the comments.
I got a clip. You with me?
Nope. Yeah. So you said Safi Ali was saying
right. He said that in one of his previous posts, he said that brother never said that. I followed up with him after you played a snippet of brother actually saying that. Right. I said, did that answer your questions?
Oh, okay.
And then he asked me what questions. And then that's when I followed up with the comment that you read in error. You misunderstood me, brother.
Oh, okay. Well, I definitely apologize and
Not
publicly
a problem.
apologize.
Not a problem. That's why I called to clear it up. Not a problem.
Yeah. So, will you please forgive me, bro? Will you please forgive me?
Not a problem, brother. It's not a problem.
Sir. Yes, sir. So I'm trying to find oh man, so I don't know what's going on. So there you go. Safi Ali say, if I remember correctly, he said it was people they knew never said NOI. So where did these lies come from again? Maybe y'all are saying the same thing. That's why I don't do comments. Do y'all understand why I don't do comments? Because Safi Ali probably is agreeing with me and brother that James, that was just on, probably was agreeing, but that typing BS. We are not females. We are not secretaries. And we gonna hurry up and try to get our point. Stop typing. Please stop typing. Don't type with me because it creates that kind of confusion. Y'all, we probably was all agreeing with each other, but typing would produce that. Please don't type with me. Please don't type with me. And don't type to each other. Even if y'all saying something against each other, hop on the live with me and say, I'll be quiet. Y'all just get on the live and y'all talk it out. Let's stop typing, please. Anthony L. Perry, it's apparent that his dad failed himself and his family playing gangster. I just never heard that. I have never heard him mention his father in none of these accusations. I just read him forgiving and praying for forgiveness and saying Allah forgive his father and grant him paradise or, something like that. Why we don't get that love? Why the NOI don't get that love? Your daddy is the one who caused all of that. And then you blaming it on us and saying that our souls is damned and we can't get no forgiveness because of the God that we believe in that said that we shouldn't put no blicky on nobody. Can y'all help me make sense of this? I don't want to go too long. I just want to go strong. So if nobody's going to hop on the live, I'll get off of here right now. I'll hop off of here right now because it ain't really nothing more that needs to be said because I read the last part. I read the post that he posted up. Madon Komet.
Yo, Cam, salute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear. What's your thoughts? Like I said, I think God willing, let somebody get on here and want to talk like a man. I'm gonna get off of this subject real quick tonight. What's your thoughts?
Man, I seen the whole thing, man. I'm kind of disappointed in Muta, man. Well, I am disappointed in Muta because that was real hypocritical, man. Like I understand that's like to him it's a devastating situation, but to come out like on your live with all them type of followings you got and just put the blame on the NOI, like y'all was the aggressors and this, that, and the third. That's bad, man. That's a bad look, man. The brother should do a public apology, in my opinion, because it make him look hypocritical. And we know like the scripture say, the joy of a hypocrite is only before a moment. So like it got exposed real quick. Like, and that goes
Well,
to show.
it actually didn't get exposed real quick. It got exposed real quick after grace was up. Because he's been saying this for years, for decades, probably.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not until God finally gives us the green light and lets us know that grace is up. Now look how quick it hit. Look how today's weather just was crazy. I don't know with weather, you know, anybody that knows what I was just, well, anyway. So Elijah said, don't worry about the devil's weapons. Find a way to get to Allah. You know what I'm saying? And learn how to use his weapons. His weapons is the forces of nature. Right? So check y'all weather. You don't get a credit to Harp or some white man. You know what I'm saying? What makes and brings rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes? The Son of Man, the original man and woman of this planet, especially when you violate them and you violate the Holy Spirit. You violate you blaspheme against the real Christ, the real God. It pops off immediately. Immediately. And that's why my little grade level of popping it off, we have for a long time held our peace. I don't even, I never even kept track of this. It's whatever. But look how quick I was able to come up with, like you said, with these receipts, if we want to use them to retaliate.
Yeah, that was a twinkling of an eye.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't lied on nobody. Why are we the bullies now all of a sudden? We start pulling out receipts and now he's the victim. Oh, no, why y'all gonna bring his parents out there? Like, no, he brought his parents out like that. He said we did his parents. We ain't say nothing about his parents. But now once we hold him to his own public slanderous words, now he's the victim. Now we're bullies. Now we unalived Malcolm and we did this and we did, all right, whatever. Better be careful because the God of justice is retaliating. Don't worry about whether we can verbally retaliate. The forces of nature, the gods and the angels that control the forces of nature is retaliating now. Elijah Muhammad said, no, we ain't got to kill him. We don't put no hands on him. Leave him to me. Leave him to Allah. That's what he said. Leave him to me. Matter of fact, you're going to pray and wish you could took out your misery. We don't got nothing to touch you. We don't want to touch you. Leave him alone. But then even speaking of Malcolm, he's like, but if Allah forgive him, I'll forgive him. Yes, sir. I ain't even set in my ways when it comes to that. But hell is fueled by men and stones. It's your own hard-headed and hard-hearted position that you're holding against the righteous. Right? That's going to keep you in hell and keep us from forgiving you or pardoning you. Because you holding on to the evil and the BS. So we don't care. I don't care nothing about you and what you're going through. I don't care about your emotions. I'm not sensitive to you because you're not sensitive of throwing a whole nation of good works under the bus because of your father's personal BS that he caused. Yeah. I don't care about that. And God damn sure don't care about it. So if you can get on there and talk passionate and somebody else was saying, matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. And then I'm gonna get off of this, and this is the screen, my IG. I don't know if y'all can see this. Yeah. So this is the post. I put it up on my Instagram, right? I said, and I tagged the Mutar 1 and 2 pages. This is proof of your disgraceful and wicked agenda against the NOI. Why have I and most of us never heard you ever mention these critical and crucial details about why this crime was committed and about the year and official status of the NOI being dismantled and already converted to Sunni Islam by that time? And then you mention the alleged faith of the men who allegedly did it. Members of the NOI didn't even exist. At no time that we've seen you blaming the NOI for the crime of red rum against your parents have I ever known these criminal details on your father's part or saw you speak of them. This intentional omission is disgusting and criminal. Woe to the slanders. So now let's go through some of the comments on my page. Wow, to leave out these details is wild. Ben X, super wild. The hitman that got hit, but when you broke it down his age, when you broke down his age and timeline, I said why they get this Negro started. I guess you're talking about me. That's some extreme internal pain that can never be healed. Leave it alone, fam. Just let it be. So we let people just slander us. No, sir. Absolutely not. Leave it alone because his feelings is hurt. So what are you doing, putting a whole nation's life in danger by stirring up the emotions, making the public think that we unalived your parents? And we supposed to leave it alone and let it be? Hell nah. Brother King Cam say, wow, may Allah be pleased with his family. However, why lie on the NOI? Come on, beloved. Donique says, wow, that's crazy. Knowledge 5845, just apologize at this point, brother, and make it right. None of us are without error. You have to be careful how you handle certain situations that are this sensitive. May Allah be pleased with your parents. What we represent here in the NOI is no plaything. You can't play with us. We'll be successful. Receipts. Is this the type of mischief-making acts we'd expect out of Muslims, real Muslims? Why would you blame the unaliving of your parents on the NOI, but here in this story, you don't mention nothing about the NOI, but that your father blickied somebody and is retaliated on because of it. The period of grace is over. All lies will be exposed. Repent before truth and justice catch up with you. Interesting that all these details were never mentioned, especially the part his father had in it. Shaking my head. So where does the article mention NOI as the culprits? Where does the court in the articles mention NOI as the culprits? How are you identifying them as NOI, but the court ain't, or the news ain't? The NOI lives rent-free in these people's minds. We literally be minding our own business, and here comes some strays. CY7, we will never get along. We will never unite. Everyone thinks they're better than the next. Own worst enemy, souls lost. And then I said, that's false. We already uniting. The NOI is already united, and members of the Sunni Muslim community is already united with us. So that's false. That's not true. People need to shut their mouth if it ain't the truth and you don't have facts to back it up. Unbelievable. Wow. When you move with righteousness, the truth will be revealed. Drops mic. He lied. Funk Master Flex voice. We call that a crime of commission and omission. I seen once it was over a debt about jewels or something. I don't know. So 12 Scientists says, so why drag the NOI into this? There are a lot of people that have envy for these teachings, even from those whom this teaching was prescribed to help. Never heard this part. I tried to address him long ago about his view of the nation because of this, and he never responded. I was asking from a place of concern and love. You need to tag him in his responses. I was like, no, I don't. He needs to speak with me live for the public to see and hear. And he said, I would prefer a real conversation where you and Mutar speak and can address all the facts one by one, but he doesn't feel comfortable with that. So you got to meet people where they at. No, I don't. I don't care how you feel. The NOI don't feel comfortable about getting slandered, talking about we took innocent lives or whatever. So I don't care about nobody feeling comfortable. You guys going to Malcolm X him now? That's crazy, bro. Leave that man alone already. So I said, yeah, it's crazy. Leave Master Fard Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, and Farrakhan and the NOI alone already. You guys are so quick to go to war for NOI, but why can't you do it for God? No, sir. You have us confused with your Sunni brothers' history. Right? So let me keep on going and find somebody else. I'm trying to find somebody that I seen was talking real reckless. Anyone who believes that Elijah was a prophet is lost. Elijah was a devil and a Dajjal, hence why Muhammad Ali and Malcolm saw the light. Muhammad Ali never saw the light. Muhammad Ali was with Elijah Muhammad until they thought he died, just like the whole nation was. The Nation of Islam went to Sunni Orthodox Islam, because they was trying to respect the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and followed his biological son Wallace, or Waraddin. And Waraddin he played the role of the Samiri in the Quran, the Samiri that took a handful of the steps of the messenger and threw him away, that destroyed the work of Moses when he went to be with Allah. And Aaron or Farrakhan took his place among the people. The Samiri is Waraddin. So we all went to Sunni Islam because of Waraddin, not because we wanted to, not because Elijah Muhammad said do that. Elijah Muhammad put Farrakhan in charge. Farrakhan just didn't want to divide the house and fight and cause no bloodshed or no fight. So he went along with Warith for 2 years or so, as long as he could, till he couldn't do it no more. So there was no Nation of Islam. There was no NOI members. Minister Farrakhan went back to smoking in Hollywood and singing and all kinds of. There wasn't no NOI. So Niner Nation said, let the homie tag you. You blocking his tag is not looking good. Talking about I'm blocking Mutar, a one-sided story. I said, I don't have him blocked. But if he can refuse to speak with me live for the public to see and hear us, cry foul when I don't play typing tag with him. Oh, my bad. This is about clicks and views. New shit is crazy or whatever. Yeah, this is absolutely about views and clicks. What you talking about? Otherwise, we'll all be in each other DM. It's absolutely about clicks and views. And now y'all running and tucking y'all tail and crying victim. Now y'all crying victim. Say crazy to lie on NOI and embarrassingly use his own parents to do it. Agent of chaos, playing the victim is pitiful. No matter what space ninjas is in, we beefing. End of the day, both versions of the religion is supposed to prevent brothers from going at each other. Who's going at each other? Your daddy the one went at somebody and caused a reaction. Right? Just like you going at the NOI and you getting a reaction. Y'all don't know physics. Y'all don't know the laws of physics and nature. Every action gonna cause a reaction. Yeah, the nation is minding their business. What you got our name in your mouth for? Especially evil stuff in your mouth about us. Not even as a Muslim who submits his will to do the will of Allah, but as a man who follows after his own way. How could one ever want anything but the responsibility for such an act to fall on who is absolutely responsible? Your father. That thinking and behavior is extremely peculiar. Can the devil fool a Muslim? Not nowadays. And everybody here is comfortable with this man posting another man's deceased parents to prove whatever point or drive home whatever narrative. Well, what is this whole book that his camp just wrote and is pushing around the world, and he's using his Tupac celebrity global fame to go overseas and say, what about us? Right? So I can't repost the post that he posted. I didn't go dig in his private, stash or something. No, this is his public post. Why did he feel comfortable posting this and not including the part that he omitted? Don't worry about what I feel comfortable doing. Why he feel comfortable accusing the NOI of doing something that his father was responsible for? West Coast Scam is your name. He can't even tag you because of your double standards. Why you want to tag me when men's supposed to talk? I've been, why would I cooperate with some tag? You're it. Like, nigga, this is serious. Why I'm gonna play texting tag? Y'all crazy. So, but yeah, that's it. I ain't gonna go too far with that. I'm sure I went far enough.
Well, I mean, you gotta have clicks and views to get the truth out. So, I mean,
I mean, but that's all. They just want to make it like, you want clout, or do you want clicks, or you want views, or how about we just want the truth? How about we want justice? You know what I'm saying? How about we wanted to promote the truth just as much as you was loud and promoted the lie and the slander? How about that?
Because that's real though, man. Cause I thought about it. Like when we left off the other night, when I was like, basically, you can't be out here justifying the wicked and condemning the just, man. That's why scriptures say, "Woe to you that do that." I mean, that's what they. I mean, that was justifying. That was condemning. I mean, like, all flat out on the video, condemning the NOI. Like, I mean, golly, bro. Like, and then that's why receipts guys to come out.
Yeah, that's why I have to do this, and that's why I ain't even gonna show you my DM, because I'm not gonna whack 100 y'all, because it's a whole lot of people and a whole lot of stuff in my DM that if it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. But they know my character and quality, and certain thing I'm gonna take to my grave unless you play like this. You play games like this, then we can go there too. We can take the gloves off too. Carde Shabazz say Mutar made a reply video to you, Brother Cam, and in it he never addressed the fact that the NOI being disbanded by the time of his parents unaliving. Absolutely. Context is everything. Timing is everything. Why are you calling somebody NOI members when there was no NOI? There was no leader of an NOI. The leader of the NOI was Warren Dean. The Warren Dean, the one that brought us all into Sunni Islam. So Warren Dean was responsible. He was the leader of the NOI. Why you not saying that?
And then the thing say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I still saw it right. It said that the leader guy he became Muslim after he got locked up.
That's what I'm saying. So what do you mean he became Muslim?
Right. That's what threw me off when I heard that. I'm like, what? Wait.
So this stuff ain't lining up, but we've been so used to abusing Allah's grace and getting away with this lie and this tricknology that you've been able to, establish whatever your relationships are with the Saudi Arabs for so long. That comfort is over now. You will never again, until and unless you publicly submit and publicly atone, you will never enjoy that comfort no more. Mental, spiritual, especially. The mental and spiritual and financial comfort that whatever you have been enjoying is cursed. It's cursed. It was already on the row. I don't want to say the wrong word because I don't want to be insensitive to what happened to his parents, but your father caused it. Your father caused it. He initiated the Blicky violence, not the NOI. So can I not get mad? I can't get loud and mad and passionate like he got? I'm an NOI. I'm a FOI. I lost loved ones in health and everything over this, bloodshed over this. I can't get passionate. I won't get like that if I'm sitting with him or with somebody. But shit, since he don't want to talk with me, I may as well get loud as I feel like getting, right?
Facts. I mean, it's understandable, man, because he across the world, from my understanding, and now he got this whole narrative of the NOI. He's painted a picture. I don't know how many followers he have amongst the Saudi people and all that area, but it's this it's like he painted the NOI in a negative light, man, and you got to clean that up.
Well, or I wouldn't give him the credit of being the mastermind. Our little mentally dead people are never the mastermind. If anything, I would blame those Arab people for manipulating his pain and his ignorance. That's what economic, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. That's what the jackals and the behavioral scientists of wickedness and evil, these military scientists, that's what they do. They look for the psychological profile of certain people, especially if you're in the rap industry and you got influence We can't get Tupac to do that, but we can get the people that was closest to Tupac. We're going to use them. Oh, yeah, we got us one. Somebody that says that, you know, the NOI or whatever's happening, you know, he don't even know he's talking about. I don't know what happened. I just read about it. I never knew what happened with my parents. I just read about it. So the Satans, the behavioral scientists, CIA, Mossad, Saudi, or whoever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They identify people like that. And then they put money and resources and media and all of that behind you and make you feel like you the one. That's God blessing you. And then they manipulating you the whole time. They using you as a weapon against the righteous movement the whole time.
Yeah, I can see how that's a fact, because just based off him knowing or having that article from 2018, knowing those facts or those truths from what he found, and then coming out in 2025, making a post saying that, you know, that the NOI had something with the deletion of his parents, that's like boldly, just to me, arrogantly, boldly just spreading disinformation. And so I can see what you're saying, like how a person could be put in that position to say those negatives.
Mm-hmm. So let's let's read this again. I'm not gonna play this. I just want to read these last pages where this is from his own page. This is not me, you know, putting his parents up. He put his parents up on this subject. I didn't type nothing else. All I did is type this what do you call that? This little heading right there. That's the only thing I did. So he said, damn, hold on one second. Pardon me. He said, and this is attached to his parents' photo. This is his post on IG. Growing up, I never really knew the exact story behind the murder of my parents. Stop. So you didn't, when did you learn? Because you said growing up. So did you learn after you was with Tupac, after you became adult? Did you learn after you became a Muslim? When did you finally learn? That's too vague in itself. Growing up, that means you didn't find out until you was grown? Growing up, I never really knew the exact story behind the unaliving of my parents, other than the fact that my father's closest friend, so you knew this part, my father's closest friend unalived my parents along with my father's friend, Mustafa. Why was that your father's closest friend? Birds of a feather flock together, right? Who did the do-low? Who did the dirty? Who did the back door? Who was the day one that flipped? Who was the first Judas that flipped? Because if your father's closest friend, this is your words. My father closest friends unalived my parents, unalived him, along with my father's friend. It's so much that we could just crack open with that. What was they doing? What was the nature of their friendship? What was they hanging out together doing? Just because his name was Mustafa, that don't make him no NOI member. That don't make him, he was practicing the restrictive laws of Islam as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. How was he an NOI member? In today's world, we can pretty much get any vital information we want from the internet. And today, this is 2018. 2018. And today, in 2018, I, Mutabil, read an article which mentioned my father and his friend was involved in a blickying of someone. What do you mean involved in a blickying of someone? And in return, that person that got blickied by your father that you just found out now in 2018 paid $7,500 for some get back against your father. May Allah have mercy on them all. Why you ain't saying may Allah have mercy on the NOI? Why may Allah not have mercy on us that believe in Master Fard Muhammad that said we're not supposed to use blickies on nobody, especially on our own people, especially on Muslims? Why your father get more love and grace and prayers than we do? Because he your father?
Man.
Was he violating Islam? Because you say he was a Muslim. May Allah have mercy on them all. And my mother took 13, such and such, protecting me and my brothers. I was also grazed in the foot by one during the encounter. The unalivers were asked in the courtroom. I guess you finding this out in 2018. All of this right here is coming from what he just read in 2018. He just read in 2018 that the unalivers were asked in the courtroom, how come they didn't delete me as a child and my brothers when we was little? And their reply that I'm just now reading in 2018 was that we ran out of slugs. We ran out of ammo because of, we spent it on his mother. My mother gave her life to save ours. Well, who caused her to lose it? Who caused her to lose it? The NOI? What does the NOI have to do with this? Was anybody practicing NOI lifestyle, laws, restrictive laws, protocol? Why are you saying it is NOI? May Allah give her the highest level of Jannah, paradise, heaven, and may Allah have mercy on them all. Why? Oh, Lord. What? So we don't get no love because we believe in God and in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. We cursed. That's the worst thing. Shirk, right? Unforgivable. But you claiming to be Muslims and you unaliving people and costing your own mother or wife her life, and that's not unforgivable. You can pray for forgiveness for them, but the NOI is the problem. The NOI is the problem. They unalive my parents. Every action has a reaction. The choices my father made not only cost him his life, but the life of his wife and almost the life of us, his kids. Where's the NOI though? Where's the NOI receipts? Where does the court documents say the NOI did it? Who was the so-called NOI following the orders of? Where does their law and their rules and their chain of command, say that they was NOI members? Because the leader of the NOI, both leaders of the NOI were gone. There was no NOI because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad returned to his Lord and Farrakhan returned to the grave. He returned to Hollywood, or he returned to whatever, but by that time he had woke up, but he was underground trying to rebuild the work of his no blicky teacher. He was busy rebuilding the exact works of his no blicky teacher, Elijah Muhammad. So how are they members of, which NOI were they members of? Exactly. The choices my father made not only cost him his life, but the life of his wife and almost the life of his kids. This is why whenever I make a decision, I always ask myself how this will impact the life of my kids. Because once we have children, our choices does not only affect us, but also our families. The unaliving of my father, became a Muslim. The unaliver of my father became a Muslim. Hold on, let me. See, that's what I really want to see. He said the unaliver, this one person, the man that unalived my father became a Muslim. And now is an imam in prison. This is in 2018. I thought he was already a Muslim. Thought he was a member of the NOI.
Right.
I hope that me asking Allah to forgive him will in return make Allah display mercy towards me and forgive me also. So what do you need forgiveness for? Slandering the NOI? It don't seem like you really want forgiveness if you're still doing it.
Yeah.
So
that's but I was just gonna say this real quick, Cam. That let us know that was 2018, it's 2025, that's like 7 years, right? So for 7 years, 6 years.
No, you're talking about since 2018.
Yeah. So since we could say 7 years because I'm not sure exactly what month he posted that, but we could just say for 7 years or 6.5, he been knowing this information about what happened to his parents, and to still come out boldly and bravely to speak on the NOI is just
speak against the NOI, to slander the NOI with no witnesses.
Right.
No witnesses. No witnesses.
That's a bad
Muslim is never supposed to have no witnesses. So now what? Now what do we do? What is the punishment for that type of slander? What is the Quran, the Holy Quran, in your Orthodox Islam? What does the Holy Quran say the punishment is for that level of slander? And that amount of time, like you just said, Madan, that you've been sitting on that slander and not cleaning it up.
Yeah. It looked like his forgiveness should be going to the NOI. You know, I think the brother should get on his knees and pray, and then just, come public and live with either you or just do a live video and apologize. You know what I mean?
But why not? Why not? Like, I think, appealing to a live in-person brother that you had already had a conversation with would have been easier. That would have been the easiest. I think that was Allah offering you the easiest olive branch to finally make it right.
Yeah.
But you jumped out there against the NOI. You jumped out there, you was already on parole. You was already on spiritual parole. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of changing your ways, you jumped out and did a bigger crime than what you was on parole for.
Yeah, I think it would have been great, man, because I think I know you realize it, but I think what moves shit, maybe he do, or he just fighting against it, I don't know. But I was just gonna say, I think that would have been epic, man, because a lot of brothers, Black brothers and sisters, a lot of us don't understand the difference. Some of us don't understand the difference between Islam of the NOI and Islam, or like the Sunni, what he's a part of. So I think it would have been epic to show the two, you know what I'm saying, to the people, man.
Hey man, but that made him uncomfortable. His supporters say that's not right because he's not comfortable. That makes him uncomfortable. His feelings. After NOI and their feelings, we got to worry about his feelings. AKA 139 say Hanafi unaliving in 1973. No, I'm not familiar. I know that's a sect of Islam called Hanafi, and Hanbali, is that supposed to be an individual? Is an individual named Hanafi that got unalived? Let us know what you're talking about. And Ruben Muhammad Peace Rube said, if the spitter became a Muslim after he spit, that means he wasn't a Muslim when he spit.
Right.
Right. But I'm just talking about who if it was members of the NOI, who was the leader? Who was the leader of the NOI at that time?
Yeah,
because he would have had to been acting on the leader, the leader's laws or or instructions or commands. Because we know that the real leader, I just played the real leader. He said, no matter what, this is why me and Malcolm go split, and Malcolm gonna get silenced and shut down or whatever, because he wants to use blickies. He wants to be tough. No, I'm the shepherd. I'm the good shepherd. I don't herd my sheep to the slaughter. You want to play blicky games with the maker of the blickies?
Right.
No, you go do that with your people, and we saw what happened to him for doing that with his people. He became the victim of what he preached. He said that was okay, and that's how he got up out of here. And then they blame that on the Muslims.
Yeah, man, you live by the sword. You get deleted by the sword. A lot of times.
Kardash Shabazz, that was a dude who broke off from the nation and formed his own thing. Kareem joined his sect. Oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, I don't know. Point being, NOI. Let's stick to the NOI. let's stick to how would members of the NOI do this to Mutah's parents, and why do he know to blame his father way back in this 2018 post, but he don't know how to say that publicly when he's talking to me. Why you ain't mention your father and what he started, what he caused? Why you mentioning NOI like we caused it? Y'all help me understand that. Any of y'all tag anybody hop on this live with me and help me understand that. Justify that. Y'all want to be Mutah's defense attorney? Hop on here and explain that one to me. Here go the invite. Here go the StreamYard link. Anybody want to take a crack at that and be Johnny Cochran for Mutah slander against calling out the, accusing the NOI of this?
Yeah. He knew for 7 years.
I never knew it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know, maybe 7 years ago is when we did our YouTube thing. It was some years ago. So he didn't mention that then. He didn't mention that with me. If he knew it already, if we did that after 2018, he already knew. He didn't bring that up to me.
He should have said when he went live the other day. Like, and he knew that. Like, bro, that's
man. Jamila said because he tries to act holy to your face, but he really has another agenda. Well, his agenda has been thoroughly exposed. The agenda is thoroughly exposed. Receipts expose all of that. All we got to do is, is research. All of us, all we got to do is have the heart to tell the truth, regardless of whom or what. I don't care. All y'all can get together and say Elijah Muhammad did this to Malcolm, and Elijah Muhammad did this to some underage girls, and Elijah Muhammad did this and this and that. That don't move us, because we standing on the truth. Even if you got locked up and trumped up charges or whatever, you never gonna say I did it. I don't care what the world says that you guilty of. If you know you didn't do it, F all y'all. I'm innocent. I don't care what witnesses they had on Jesus, what false charges, what AI, whatever. If we know we ain't guilty of that, then we gonna stand on it, and you just gonna be more and more frustrated until Allah decides he wants to give us the keys to get out, or give us the receipts that's going to really infuriate you and make you want to do something to us physically like y'all did to Jesus. We know what you plan to do. We know what you want to do, but it's you're the ignorant little emotional pawns. You're the little ignorant emotional instruments, because who really wants to do it is Satan. Satan wants to do it. The people that, run Mecca, Arabia, or the people that run the, Orthodox Muslim world and the so-called Judaic Christian world. All the three top monotheistic faiths have been hijacked by Satan. Satan, white supremacy. So of course they're gonna look for any of us that's suffering and traumatized and don't have no understanding. They're gonna bless you. They're going to use all, like Satan took in Jesus or whoever up on the mountain. They're going to use all their resources, all their lures, all their, seduction, everything that they know you want, and they're going to give it to you. But you have to talk bad against them. You have to, take a position against them. You have to use this blessing, this influence, and this fame and this money that we're providing you with to go against them. That's the key. That's the conditions right here. So that's what he's been doing, clearly. But now the time for that is over with. And now it's time for, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the blicky. The verbal blicky. You know what I'm saying? The receipts, the blicky receipts. You know what I'm saying? The old dog videotape. the surveillance tape. We got surveillance receipts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So, you know, if we was guilty, then this type of pressure would crack us. If we was guilty, we'd start slipping up and, you know what I'm saying, changing stories or something like that. You'll break our faith or break our, you know, because we know we was lying. But if we know we not lying, if we know we standing on truth, then we just got to endure it and wait on Allah to free us. Give us the tools or give us the whatever, you know what I'm saying, and give us the green light and we going to get free. You know what I'm saying? Because we know not only was we not guilty, now we got rage and whatever built up, pressure and all of that, because we knew we was falsely accused and falsely imprisoned and persecuted because of you.
Fact.
So somebody got to answer for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real, man. The brother stated, he said out his own mouth, there's not a coward bone in his body, so he should have a faith and be strong enough to come out and do a public apology and go from there, you know.
Well, if he ain't gonna talk to me, he ain't gonna apologize.
Yeah, you're right on that.
So why would we hold our breath expecting that? My job is to do what I'm doing, just to expose the facts for what it is, call it out. I have the right to put my own little personal passion behind it.
Yeah, you're right, because one thing we know about smoke, it always bring them out their hole.
Yeah. So you can't sleep at night. You having trouble in dreams. You having anxiety and panic attacks. You having depression. You having anxiety and grief and worry and stress. I'm not. This relieves me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you worried about the volcano. The volcano ain't worried about itself. The volcano is like, yes, I get to blow this. I finally get to release this pressure.
Yeah.
You call it, you know, cataclysmic. You know what I'm saying? It's not cataclysmic to the earth. The earth is like, yes, I needed to burp. I needed to fart this out. I needed to, you know, vomit this up.
Yeah, man.
Just because it drowns you, it ain't hurting the earth. It's helping the earth. It's helping the truth. It's relieving the truth, because justice and truth have fallen in the street.
Yeah, like a geyser, man. You know, hey, when that geyser get ready, you better get out the way.
Yeah, that plastic flow or whatever that is, that it ain't even the lava, it's the smoke, just the steam will kill you. Everything about it, the earthquake will kill you, the steam will kill you, the lava will kill you, the sound will kill you, it'll blow your eardrums out. Everything about a volcano will get rid of you.
Yeah, that's a fact. But yeah, man, I was gonna say earlier when you were saying something, you know me, man, I'm always watching and looking at stuff, but you know, Jersey been up in smoke over the last few days, man. Like
what's happening in Jersey?
It was like wildfires.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I ain't really been keeping track. I really only keep track of the people that Allah puts on my radar. You know what I mean? I got, you know, certain things now is, of course, is forcing me to pay attention. But yeah, I'll be having tunnel vision. That's how you survive this long. I got to stay focused on my assignment or on my man. Whoever Allah says, this is your man, get your man. Then I just stay focused on that.
Hey, that's real, bro. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to, man. After that level of disrespect and slander, it's I can understand it to the fullest.
Yes, it's much more. So, you know, we'll take it by degrees. Allah's gonna let it go by degrees. The more that you deny it, the more that you stand on your pride and your ego and envy or whatever it is that you're doing, or your slander, then it's gonna get hotter and hotter every day. So we won't stop. You know what I'm saying? We hurl the truth against falsehood until we knock out his brains, right? Fight them until they pay the tax in acknowledgement of your superiority over them. and they are in a state of subjection. Fight them. Once you make us start fighting, we cannot stop. It's against Islam for us to stop. You started it. We cannot stop. We would be punks. We would be cowards, and we would be violating the law of engagement, or, you know, you didn't stop, so we can't stop.
Yeah. What did the minister say? Hit them with the rock of truth or something like that.
Oh yeah, more than that. I mean, and I got to be careful not to, because our people are so emotional that we already super offended. That and that's what Satan's bank on. They bank on the knowledge that wild, emotional, ignorant Negroes are gonna physically try to do something to each other. You know what I'm saying? We want to fight over Tupac. We want to fight over Biggie. We want to fight over Ice Cube or Snoop Dogg. We want to fight over Mutah. Some people want to fight over me. No, don't fight over me. Don't get physical with nobody over me. Let's all keep it God. This is all supposed to be God business, remember?
Yeah.
Like Elijah, like our leader, we just played our leader. He says, no, leave him to me. God told me, leave him to me. He don't allow us to touch him. He don't allow us to kill him. You know, I certainly won't give you no trouble if you don't give me none. You never have to worry about no NOI, no real NOI that's with Farrakhan. Will never give you no trouble. Will never initiate no trouble. We only respond to it. So if you knew you already been given, you know, slander, wicked, you know, aggression and whatever, in word and deed and economics and whatever, then we gonna retaliate. We have the right to retaliate, and we have the right to retaliate until you have not the strength to ever do that anymore. We have to make examples. That's really like the Quran says, scatter them. So, you know, for those coming behind them. In other words, you do them so horrifically for violating you that, you know, they're going to see the pieces of these niggas, you know what I'm saying? The people that's coming behind them. Oh, Lord. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, you got to make examples.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
So we talking about verbal. I'm talking about verbal examples, intellectual examples, social media examples. Yeah, if it turns to some other language, then we show, you know, we do examples on that language level. But right now, this is all we talking about.
Yeah, that's real, man. Just you know, just hitting them up with the beating them up with the information and truth. That's it.
And we claim to be Muslim, so we shouldn't be going by nothing but the Islamic law. You done already broke 3 or 4, you know, great sin, you know, laws of Islam, starting with slander. You know what I'm saying? Accusing somebody else, bringing calumnies, no witnesses. You know what I mean? Speaking publicly. Yeah, I mean, public utterance of hurtful speech.
Yeah, defamation, all that.
Yeah. So it's cool. We could just leave it verbal. I don't, you know, you already heard my leader said you're not supposed to ever take part in wars that take the lives of human beings. Better read the back page of the Final Call newspaper or website NOI.com or NOI.org, what the Muslims believe. Right? Right. So we don't believe that we should take parts in no wars, or, you know what I'm saying, that take the lives of human beings. But if you touch us, then that's different. If you initiate it on us, then that's different. All bets is off. So how are you going to get mad at, you claim that it's an NOI member that retaliated against your daddy?
Yeah, because didn't even Muhammad Ali demonstrate that, you know, about not going to war or something like that?
Well, that's just nonviolent. Yeah, as far as that we don't participate in that. But then there was also a verbal demonstration, or might not have been verbal, against since they say we don't do nothing to white folks, where the mafia, Italian mafia, came to Muhammad Ali and said, you better throw this fight. because up to that point, you know, gambling and Vegas and all that, you know what I'm saying, sports, all of that was controlled and monopolized by the mafia.
Yeah.
So they came to Muhammad Ali, not knowing that he had an army, not realizing it, I guess, and said, if you don't throw this fight, we're going to blicky your knees. And basically, you will never fight again. We're going to blicky your knees. So Muhammad Ali went back and told his commander-in-chief, the messenger of Allah, the leader of the Nation of Islam, dear holy apostle, they said, if I don't throw this fight, they're going to blicky my knees. And he said, you go back and tell them they got knees too.
I know that's right.
It. Yeah. That wasn't no tough guy talk. That wasn't no screaming and yelling on Clubhouse or YouTube and paperwork party and RICO incrimination. No, go tell them they got knees too.
Right.
And they demonstrated that they had knees too. I ain't gonna lie. They demonstrated that they had knees too. Because, you know, that verbal threat was enough to respond, because you verbally said that, you know, this is what you intending to do to us.
Mm-hmm.
So just like America do a preemptive, we have to be preemptive. We have to take necessary precautions. Some strikes need to be preemptive because they already said they was coming.
Right.
But we don't do nothing. We don't do nothing. But I think that's it. I'm gonna get off of here early this evening and see if anybody wants to meet me over on IG. I might hop on IG and see if somebody show up. So take us on out of here real quick, Madonna.
No doubt, man. Salute, Cam. It's always a great deal, man. Hey, to the people and all the listeners, man. Hey, let's stand on truth and righteousness. You know what I mean? Let's cut out the slander and stand on facts. And you know, like I said before, you can't be out here justifying the wicked and condemning the just, because the joy of a hypocrite is only before a moment.
Right. RA Music, I seen you a couple of times. Keep on saying, is there any way to fix this? We not broken. What do you mean? We're not broken. Fix what? Fix who? You need to go over there on their lives and ask that question. We ain't doing none of the slandering and the lying and all that. So go ask them. But I played Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad clearly gives the process and the protocol of atonement. If you don't want to do the steps of atonement, that's not just in the nation. Christians, Muslims, Jew, Hebrews, laws of nature. Everybody knows the accountability, adult, mature steps of making something right. What do you mean? Is there any way to fix this? The question is, are they willing to do what's necessary to fix this? Don't ask us that. Go ask them that. But on that note, peace and blessings. We out.
Salute.